Hola, muy buenos días a todos, todas, todo X. Otra video lección de español conmigo, tu profesor de español 2, señor Westland. Bueno, sí. Muchas gracias. Sí. Bueno, namaste. Estoy aquí para decirles a ustedes una lección hoy día acerca de los mandatos irregulares negativos o los mandatos negativos irregulares. Okay? So, as you can see, I'm using my children's bath time letters on this glass door to do today's lesson. In case you didn't catch it in Spanish just there, or didn't see it in the schedule, it's negative irregular commands, okay? So these are the Vin Diesel verbs, right, that we went over last week, however, now in their negative form, right? So not Vin Diesel las ten ve ponce, right? But the don't do that version of all of those, right? Because those are all the affirmatives, okay? Now, last week, we also reviewed the concept of go-yo verbs. And the reason we did, and we said, hey, a lot of these Vin Diesel verbs, hey, happen to also be go-yo verbs in the present tense. And the reason why we went over that is because that is like a stepping stone kind of concept to understanding what we're doing right now, all right, with these negative irregulars, because they kind of, a lot of these negative commands kind of look like the go-yo conjugation, of course, with the opposite vowel applied, okay? Also remember in the Vin Diesel verbs, not all of them are go-yos, so we're also going to look at those today. And recalling the yo form, right, is like a big part of today's lesson, is also helpful in creating the negative commands for those verbs. And I'm mainly talking about ir, right, and ser, right? Those aren't go-yos, right? Those are like, yo voy and yo soy. All right. Okay. One thing we have to talk about is, are there any universalities about go-yo verbs? So I'm just gonna pop off, like some off the top of my head. Ready? Traer, caerse, tener, poner, salir, tener, ese poner, okay? If you noticed, right, we're pretty much exclusively talking about or ir verbs, right? So like tener, right? Traer, caerse, right? Don't forget about those fluxes, we'll do those, right? And like salir, venir, right? Okay? So those are what we're talking about. And it's good to know that because when you think about negative commands, you have to think about a lot of different concepts, including what type of vowel. If you said the opposite vowel, you are correct. Let's go. So if we're talking about ir or what's your opposite vowel gonna be? If you said la letra A, you are correct. That is our opposite vowel. Ooh, that's kind of hard to see. That is our opposite vowel that we're really exclusively working with all of these negative commands today. All right? So let's get started. First, it's all about the process. All right? The process. Right? All you basketball heads know about Joel Embiid and his process in Philadelphia. If you follow professional basketball. How's that process working out, Joel? But really, in Spanish, you have certain processes that help you get the most accurate answer, right? At the beginning of the year, I talked about the conjugation process in general, right? So like, let's talk about, the verb traer, right? Let's go. I'm going to spell it up here for you. Oh, you know what? Let's not do that one because I don't have enough R's. It's a very makeshift. By the way, there's going to be some maybe rogue characters posing as letters today. All right. Right. So like, let's go back, right, to process, right? It's all about process, right? With Spanish conjugations, right? So this to fall, right? How would you say, like, for example, I fall, right, in the present tense, right? Okay. It's a process, right? Like when we conjugate a verb, we have to take the end off, right? And in this case, you have the diphthong, like the vowel blend I put in there, right? And it's a go-yo, right? So you put your ending on. Then you have it, right? Caigo, right? That's like the process of just like conjugating caer in the present progressive, right? Okay, so let's go back, right? Now, how would you tell someone using the verb caer, right? Don't fall, right? Don't fall. It's slippery, right? There's ice outside right now, right? So like, oh, cuidado, no blank, porque hay hielo y puedes deslizarte. Ay, okay, right? You can slip and fall, right? So don't fall, right? So of course it's a negative command, so right? All negations in general start with like what word? Correct. It is the word no, right? It's a negation, right? When you're telling someone not to do something, or if you're just generally saying like, oh yeah, I don't do that, right? But in this case, we're doing like, it's a negative command. Don't fall, right? Look out, okay? So here's the process, right? How do you get this to say don't fall? First, you have to recall what the yo form is in the present tense. And what is that again? How do you say, like, I fall, for example, with caer? Yeah, I just said it earlier. It's caigo, right? It's caigo, right? So you have to recall that yo form. Right? You're like, no caigo. All right, boom. Like, it's like means I don't fall, right? But you're trying to say don't fall, right? Okay? So now what you have to do is you have to remove the O, right? And this is a universal. This is for all of these verbs, right? This is like the model, right? You remove the O, peace, okay? And then it's back to your previous knowledge about negative commands. So, based on the type of verb, it's caer, right? You know, you have your you need your opposite vowel. It's a negative command, and you need a certain conjugation. So, what is the ending going to be if you apply the correct conjugation and the correct opposite vowel? If you said AS, as in no caigas, you are correct. And sorry, but my letter 6 has to double as a lowercase a, because again, this is kind of makeshift. Okay? So, no caigas, don't fall. Okay? So I'm just going to keep this no up here, right? Because if they're all negative commands, right? Okay? Now, let's do the next one. Let's do don't bring with traer, right? So the verb is traer. This one is just like caer, and then it has that diphthong vowel blend e inserted, like so, like no caigo, right, or no caigas, right? Traer. What is it gonna be now? I'll just give this one to you because I don't want to do too many questions in this ed puzzle, right? But you're gonna have at this point, right? You want to try and just like immediately go to your O form, right, as in no traigo, right? But it's like, you know what it is. You don't have to, right? We want to make this process quicker and more efficient, right? So just like traig, right? Don't even worry about traigo, right? It's there. You know it exists, right? But it doesn't apply anymore, right? You know you have to go right to that opposite vowel, right? So what is the correct negative command don't bring going to be at the end of all this? No traigas. Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. Nice. No traigas. All right. Let's just go to the okay. So I brought up caer and traer because they're also goyos. They're not necessarily in the Vin Diesel family. They do have that negative irregularity though. In the affirmative, like to tell someone to fall, that would be a messed up command, but it would just be cae. And to tell someone to bring, it would just be trae, right? Because the el, ella of those are just, it's just how it is. You just use those irregular affirmative commands. All right, but let's go to Vin Diesel, starting with the command don't come. Like don't come to school because it's dangerous for spreading illness, right? Okay, so your verb is venir, right? What is your, let's build again. What is the yo form again? As in, I come to school. Yes, it's going to be vengo, right? So when we put it up on the glass here, right, it says, it's like, I don't come, right? But how are we going to transform this into, say, the negative command, don't come? Yeah, we're going to, of course, take off this O, apply our opposite vowel, which again is always going to be a, right? No vengas. No vengas. Sorry, those blue ones are a little tougher to see. All right. Next, we have decir. So like, don't tell me, right? And this also could mean like, oh, you don't say. Literally, we want to say, don't tell me, all right? Now, we have to talk about that object pronoun me. Don't tell me, right? This would be like me, right? Or me would be the indirect object pronoun in this sentence. Because it's like, what don't you tell? It, right? That would be like lower law, right? Me is the indirect object pronoun, right? But where is the word me going to go? Is it going to go before the no or after the no? It's going to go after the no, right? So it's going to be like, no. I need an M. Quick, don't fail me now, eyes. I'm going to shuffle through. Perfect. Okay. No me, right? And now you have to take decir, right? And you have to make it the negative command. Don't tell, right? Don't tell me, right? So decir is a stem changer. So the stem des, right? It is going to change to something else. Oh no, I don't. Oh my gosh, I got to use this letter 3 or number 3. Okay, so here is decir. All right. Well, there is your stem, right? What vowel is that going to turn into in the yo form in the present simple, right? Because that's where we're always going to go back to, right? So it's going to go from des to what? Okay, it's going to go from to E. And then, of course, the C is going to change to G. Right? And again, we don't have to bother G. Boom. We don't have to bother saying digo, right? We're trying to generate the negative command, right? So apply that opposite vowel, and what do you get? That is correct. You get no me digas. Okay. Now, let's go to hacer. This is going to be the last of the goyos, and then I'm going to get to those other ones that aren't necessarily goyo, okay? But let's do hacer because I want to do hacer, right? No, okay, so the verb, right? What is our yo form going to be? What is our yo form going to be? You guys listening to me? What's the yo form of hacer, right? As in like I do or I make, or like in this case I don't do, right? Hacer is the verb, right? What is the conjugation? Okay, it's no hago. Hope you got it, guys. I know, it's tough, right? But how would you tell someone, don't do it? Again, it's just like the same opposite vowel every time. Two forms should be pretty opposite, right? Good, no hagas. See, you guys are getting this. Tearing it up. Tearing it up. Tearing it up. Good job. Okay. So that's, that's what it's going to be that way for the rest of them, right? Like, so for tener, it's going to be no tengas, right? For poner, right? It's going to be don't put, right? It'd be what? No pongas, right? Here's a little curveball thrown your way. How would you tell someone not to put on something with the reflexive verb ponerse, right? Ponerse. So not just no pongas, but what would it be? It would be no te pongas. No te pongas, right? Because you got to get the se out of the way, right? It's not an affirmative. The affirmative to tell someone put on, right? Right? So if like the affirmative for poner is pon, right? How would you tell someone reflexive? Put on, right? Put on a jacket. How would you tell them that? Ponte, very good, as in ponte una chaqueta, or ponte chaqueta. All right, cool. Let's just go now to ir and ser, and then we're done. So how do you say with the verb ir, like I go? Good, it's yo voy, right? Yo. Okay. Now, in this case, we're going to take the opposite vowel for ear here, right? So it's just ah, right? And we're going to apply it not just here, but also, yeah, that one was easy, after the Y. All right, so this one means, yeah, don't go, right? Because it's ear, right? Ear means to go, right? No vayas, don't go, right? This is often confused with ver, right? People confuse ear and ver because they look similar, right? So like don't see, right? Because veo, right? All right, that would just be like no veas, okay? Now, let's go to ser, right? So the yo form of ser, as in I am, would be yo soy, right? All right. This one, you know what? Honestly, don't even worry about it. Just keep the se on. Just keep the se from ser. Just keep it se. All right. Just like the affirmative, right? Like se with an accent, right, would be like be a good person. Sé una buena persona, right? But to say don't be, right, you just have to apply the opposite vowel right there and then to form, right? So add the S. So that one's just going to be no Oh man. No seas. Oh god, it's an ugly looking. That looks better. No seas. Yeah. Pero no seas, okay, so no seas cruel, right? Durante este periodo, no seas cruel. No seas matón. Matón significa bully. No seas racista, ¿ya? Es muy importante ser una buena persona. Entonces, ser una buena persona, no seas cruel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for the time that you took to do it. This is the last piece of this whole year as far as new stuff to teach you guys. And luckily, it just was building off of knowing Goyo verbs, right? And a couple of new little irregulars here and there. Other than that, that's it for this year. So we're in bona fide review mode. Remember that these commands are crucial for this week's project, right? This week's micro project requires at the very least one of these irregular commands, either negative like these or the Vin Diesel affirmatives, okay? So, we're already over 20 minutos, way too long, but hopefully this was no longer than 30 minutes. Bueno, es todo. Gracias por mirar. Adiós, chao. Amor. Adiós.